Hi, I'm Gresham. I'd like to welcome you to the Markham Park Target Range here in Fort Lauderdale. In a few minutes, we'll begin our coverage of the 5th Annual Chevy Truck Sportsman Team Challenge. But before we do, Tom Gresham and I would like to talk a little bit about this unique all-around competition.
Thanks, Grits. Those of you familiar with the Team Challenge National Championship know that it attracts many of the best competitive shooters throughout the country. These shooters, of course, compete in the open or pro class.
But the largest class by far is the sportsman's class. Men and women just like you who just like to shoot, but who are not the top tournament shooters.
The Team Challenge provides them with a unique opportunity to shoot in a major match, where this format of shooting handgun, rifle, and shotgun makes team strategy just as important as individual skills.
Shooters from around the country have asked me what it takes to compete in the sportsman's class. How good does my team have to be? And what kind of equipment do I really need?
Oh, one way to answer that is to look at the scores in the sportsman's class. There's a purse of $50,000, and it pays all the way down to 12th place. And there are 40 or 50 teams competing.
And last year, the 12th place team came in with a score of 360. The 6th place team had a score of 417, and the winning team only had a 440 out of 600. Now clearly, this is not an event where you have to have a perfect score or even a near perfect score in order to finish in the money or simply to have a great time.
Well, as far as equipment goes, the best comment I've heard was from one of the top handgun shooters in the country. He shot the precision handgun event with a straight, out-of-the-box 22 auto-loading pistol. Someone asked him why he didn't use something more exotic, and he said he simply didn't need anything more than a standard gun to shoot that course of fire.
In fact, every event out here has been designed with just that in mind. The bottom line is, you can hit any target out here with a rifle, shotgun, or pistol with an over-the-counter gun.
You know, in any shooting event, practice is the key. And the National Shooting Sports Foundation holds Sportsman Team Challenge events in regions throughout the country where you can go to experience all of these events firsthand.
You can also get a free copy of the Sportsman's Team Challenge Competitors Manual that includes courses of fire and suggestions as to how you can practice on your own. We hope you'll be in Florida next year, and we hope you enjoy the show. In the world of competitive shooting, there's nothing quite like it. Nothing that places more demands on a shooter's overall skills. From pinpoint concentration and a rock-steady hold one moment to breakneck speed and split-second timing the next. It's a triathlon of handgun, rifle, and shotgun marksmanship skills. Perhaps the ultimate challenge for any of America's top competitive shooters. Hi, I'm Gresham, shooting editor of Sportsman magazine, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 5th Annual Chevy Truck Sportsman's Team Challenge here at the Markham Park Target Range in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Imagine, if you will, an auto race that combined events for stock cars, Indy cars, and top fuel dragsters all in one, and you'd have some idea what this shooting match is all about. From the first green light to the checkered flag, this all-around competition truly puts a premium on versatility. The ability of competitors to adapt quickly and successfully to very different courses of fire and very different equipment as they move from one stage of the competition to the next. And the team that comes out on top can certainly claim the title of the best all-around shooters in the country. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Are the shooters ready?
Joining me to cover the action this year is fellow Sports Field editor and my son, Tom Gresham. Tom, like any new event, the Sportsman's Team Challenge started 5 years ago with high expectations, but also with some question marks.
Well, that's right. I think one of the biggest questions was whether competitive shooters could be motivated to participate outside of their specialty. Well, that is, would a top pistol shooter be convinced to lay down his handgun long enough to practice with a rifle and then to learn the very different skills necessary to shoot a shotgun? It's almost like asking a hockey player to become a nationally ranked figure skater and a top-notch speed skater as well.
Well, certainly, most of the top shooters in the country have accepted the challenge. The number of competitors in this event have more than tripled in the last 5 years. One of the interesting things to me is that many of these top competitors who were literally forced into trying a different discipline now have found out that they're bitten by a whole new shooting bug.
Yeah, well, just take a look at Rob Leatham. Rob's long been one of the top pistol shooters in the country. But he was forced into shooting a shotgun only when he started competing in the team challenge. And then just a couple of years ago, he took that skill and he won the Arizona State Sporting Clays Championship.
Boy, that's quite an accomplishment. Another key question here is that this tournament is a team format. This is the only shooting competition in the country where all shooting and all scoring is strictly on a team basis.
Right. And all the teams shoot in all the events, in handgun, rifle, and shotgun. That means that each person on every team has to be able to do it all, to run, pass, and block, if you will.
And this year, we're looking at some major changes in the lineup of the top teams and at some very interesting new teams as well.
For the last several years, the Smith & Wesson team has come close to owning this event. Arkansas native Miculek, a man who's won virtually every major handgun match in competitive shooting, is back as the team's captain. Jerry Miculek, currently the fastest revolver shooter in the country, is also back on the team. The big news is that Judy Woolley has joined the Smith & Wesson team. Judy is a two-time world speed shooting champion and indeed the first full-time factory-sponsored professional female shooter since Annie Oakley.
What enabled us to stay competitive throughout the years is just going home and doing our homework. Each year we train for the event, we learn new things to work on, and just try to cut the traps out of it so you can come in and have a good tournament that you're proud of.
Last year's runner-up team from Dillon Precision has also shuffled its lineup. Joining this team this year is one of America's best all-around competitive shooters, Rob Leatham. Hart Meyer and Mike Voigt not only have a number of national pistol titles under their belts, but both are highly accomplished shotgunners. All three of these men know what it takes to get into the winner's circle, and they can cover this competition from one end to the other.
Well, we are pistol shooters first. We shoot a little bit of rifle through the course of the year, but this event has forced us to become shotgun shooters. So we'll spend 70% of our time practicing just for the shotgun event, for this one event. We'll shoot probably 10,000 rounds of shotgun shells a piece a year just for these next 3 days.
Much the same thing can be said about the men shooting on the European American Armory team. While the team is new, all three members are veteran Team Challenge competitors and top-ranked shooters in their own disciplines. Brian Enos, a Bianchi Cup and Masters champion, has been on the winning Smith & Wesson team for the past 2 years. David Tubb, who competed here for the first time last year, is America's top metallic silhouette rifle shooter. And Doug Koenig may well be America's best young shooter with a Masters championship already to his credit.
The two guys I'm shooting with are pretty good shooters on their own, so I think the whole thing is we work really good together as a team.
Three of America's best amateur shooters are shooting under the Randolph Engineering banner this year. Dennis Crocker, Al Sinclair, and Ken Large have competed here since 1988. This trio of South Carolina shooters has always been in the race every year.
I think that my personal favorite event here is the flurry. We enjoy that. That's a fast game, it's a rhythm game, and usually we do well at it, and that's my favorite.
While these top shooters come from a wide range of competitive backgrounds, the teams do have one thing in common. That's the hundreds of hours of practice they put in just for this match.
And that's not surprising. At no other event do competitors face so many different or such contrasting shooting challenges.
Actually, there are 6 totally different courses of fire in this competition. The shotgun portion of this competition includes 3 different events, each with a unique twist on clay target shooting. In the flurry, 5 computer-controlled traps throw 50 clay targets toward the shooter, 5 at once, and then 1 practically right after the other.
In the flush event, the challenge is reversed, with 5 traps throwing 50 targets at different angles and elevations away from the shooters.
In the mixed bag event, team members take turns, each facing a series of doubles. 2 targets thrown at the same time from any pair of multiple traps set out on either side, in front, and even in back of the shooter. This really is a challenge.
Any rifle shooter would agree that the most difficult way to shoot this game is in the standing position. In the rifle event, competitors face the added challenge of shooting against the clock, with teams limited to 1 minute and 45 seconds to try and hit 44 targets.
Targets are set out in banks of 10 at 45, 60, 75, and 90 yards. In addition, 2 pairs of 1-inch bonus targets are out at 40 and 55 yards.
In order to score on any target, the inside portion of the target must be squarely hit. As this portion of the target falls back, a white metal flag pops up, indicating a downed target.
As the name implies, the combo event puts rifle and handgun shooting together. Here, 2 team members fire .22 caliber handguns, while the third competes with a .22 caliber rifle.
There are 50 targets in this event, set out in stands at distances from 25 yards all the way out to 80 yards. To make things even tougher, not all the targets in this event are in view. On certain banks, a blocking target must be knocked down in order to reveal the actual scoring target.
Time is a key factor in this event as well, with open class teams having only 1 minute and 45 seconds to try and complete the course.
In keeping with the all-around theme of this competition, the handgun event combines a variety of distinctly different types of handgun matches shot as a team relay. Speed is a critical factor, with open teams allowed only 1 minute and 45 seconds on the course.
The course itself includes 3 separate sections. A 22 caliber course with biathlon-style targets set out at 20 and 25 yards. A centerfire speed event with falling plate targets placed from 7 to 25 yards from the shooter. And a centerfire long-range event with 2 banks of 4-inch targets out at 25 and 35 yards.
The scoring on these events is pretty straightforward. Each event is worth 100 points, and the overall match is worth 600 points.
This event begins with a preliminary round. The 3 top teams after this round advance to the championship round to compete for a share of the $137,000 cash purse. Back after these messages. Every team here has its own idea about what it takes to win.
I think the key to winning is to have 3 overall decent shooters, and I think you can do pretty well down here.
Key to winning here at the Sportsman's Team Challenge is having consistency, having the time to practice, and having a lot of good luck.
Even though she's not shooting here this year, Olympic gold medal winner Lonnie Miley has her own thoughts about what makes the Team Challenge a unique competition. Earlier, Team Challenge analyst Marty Rudolph had a chance to talk with her.
Lonnie, congratulations again on an incredible accomplishment in Barcelona, one of the few people to bring home that gold medal. I think it was 1976, Margaret Murdoch won a silver medal, and that had an enormous impact on the number of women that got involved in shooting. What kind of impact do you think your gold medal is going to have on women shooters?
Well, I hope it has a good impact. You know, we have a lot of men and women on the shooting team, but, being the only women to bring home a gold medal on the whole team, I hope shows women, that we are competitive in the world and we can set our goals just as high and accomplish, the same or more than men.
You've had a couple of days to walk around this very different event called the Sportsman's Team Challenge. What do you think?
It's very exciting. They're using a combination of rifles, pistols, and shotguns, and that's a new concept for me. And to have to be proficient in all of those and competing against time is very exciting.
Would you be interested in trying it?
I think next year I will definitely have to be out on the line. It's exciting to watch, but being a competitor, it's hard to sit back and not get involved.
What would be the hardest part of
For me, the shotgun, because I'm so used to not moving. To see something moving and have to move my body is a new concept, so that'll be my weakest area.
Lonnie, congratulations again on your medal, and thanks very much for being with us here.
My pleasure.
The marksmanship skills of many of these championship shooters is often nothing short of incredible.
Jerry, I understand you can do something with a revolver no one else on the planet can do. Tell me about what you're going to do here.
What I'm going to try to do right now is see if I can fire 6 rounds out of a .38 revolver in about 3/4 of a second on one target.
Okay, well, let's take a look.
Okay.
All right.
The tournament is fantastic this year. We've been blessed with good weather, great shooting.
I've been shooting competitively since 1948, and this is the finest program that's ever been designed for the shooting sports. It brings in the kids, the women. It's wonderful.
Industry teams are perhaps the most competitive class here. And while they don't shoot for money, pride and bragging rights are on the line. The Winchester team posted top scores in all events, the edge they needed to take top honors in this year's industry class. With 45 teams from around the country entered, it took some great shooting to best the field in the sportsman's class. Congratulations to the Carolina Sportsman, who took home the first place trophy and a check for $16,500.
We probably should have gone to Disneyland the way we were shooting today.
Coming up next, the open class championship round. In the open class, we have 3 great teams in this final. The Tanfoglio team, Smith & Wesson, and Dillon Precision. And only 11 points separated these 3 in the preliminary round, so we should have a very tight competition in this final.
That's right. In the championship round, the preliminary scores are not used, so each team enters this competition with a blank scorecard.
The championship round in the open class got underway with Team Tanfoglio shooting the flurry event.
In the flurry, they shoot 50 clay targets that are thrown almost right at them. They start off with 5 that come all at once, and then there's 1 target per second after that.
I see Judy Woolley, who is the new member of this team, is really doing a good job. I understand that in the preliminary rounds, she only dropped 5 or 6 shotgun targets out of all the shotgun events. The Dillon team dropped 5 targets on the flurry for a score of 90. 4 points behind Team Tanfoglio and 6 points behind Smith & Wesson.
You'll notice that each shooter starts with a low gun position and then calls for the birds, and they get a double. The trick is to kick them up visually, because they don't know which trap out of 5 traps these birds are going to be coming from.
Jerry missed that rabbit. Unusual for him.
Yeah, Mike was saying that you want to be able to see both targets before you shoot the first one. He says, and then you have to remember you can't break both of them until you've broken the first one.
Tom, we've got this flush event when the targets go directly away from it at different angles, and Dillon is up first. They're leading this thing.
They're leading, but they're only leading by 2 points. They have a 184 versus a 182 for the Smith & Wesson team, so it's very, very tight at this point. There goes all 5 at once.
Got them all, didn't you?
I believe they did. Now these targets are just flying out at random, 1 every second. These targets are worth 2 points apiece.
The man on the left takes the targets from the left, and the man on the right takes those from the right as much as they can.
And remember, they can only load 2 shells at a time, so they have to shoot and then load as quickly as they can.
You notice they're not rushing.
These fellows are really watching, and they'll back each other up when somebody misses. The X guy is right on top of it. Their reflexes are so fast. I think this is a really close competition as we finish all the shotgun events and head into the rifle and handgun. Looks like they got an 84. Smith & Wesson is the high team for the flush with an 84.
That should put them in the lead.
Let's take a look. Yes, it does. Smith & Wesson team is now 2 points in front of the Dillon Precision.
It looks like it's going to go all the way down the line. In the rifle event, Team Tanfoglio started off by quickly knocking down all the close-range targets, while David Tubb went directly to the 90-yard bank. It was a strategy that worked and resulted in a fine score of 92. The Dillon team shot an almost perfect score of 96, keeping the pressure up on Smith & Wesson. Whether they felt the heat or not, Smith & Wesson didn't show it, hitting every rifle target on the range with 22 seconds to spare. Their perfect score gave them a 6-point overall lead going into the combo event. The combo event once again proved to be the swing event. While the Dillon team shot an 85 and kept within striking distance of Smith & Wesson, an equipment problem slowed down Tanfoglio and put them 23 points behind in the overall standing. A very big margin to overcome with just 1 event left. By no means, however, did this dampen their competitive spirit going into the final handgun event.
Here we go, and they're starting off with Doug Koenig.
Well, he's one of the top shooters in the country, so
he's shooting very quickly. It's all just a question of if he can get in the groove and take them down at that speed. Boy, he's moving fast.
He's sure doing it.
He really is.
He's got him.
I think he lost some valuable time at that station, though. Okay, they're putting David Tubb in the middle section, using the rifle shooter on the big targets. He's no slouch with a handgun, though.
Oh, he's rolling them, isn't he? That was fast.
Here comes Brian Enos, and this man can shoot a handgun. That looks like an equipment problem.
Had a jam on that first shot. Didn't seem to bother him, though. That's 3 in a row. 4. 5.
Boy,
5 out of 6
shooting
shots.
Well. They call him the Iceman.
8 seconds.
He has time.
He got it
Amazing.
all.
He cleared them. They called him the
Clean sweep.
Iceman, and he was as cool as he could be.
Hot dog.
That was a beautiful run for that team.
But even with a perfect score, I honestly don't think they can challenge Dillon or Smith & Wesson unless one of those teams has a real problem in the handgun event. Going into the last handgun event of this competition, it looks as if we've got a two-team horse race.
Well, we sure do. There's only 6 points that separate the Dillon team and the Smith & Wesson team.
Yes, and that's only 3 targets.
Right. And that so often happens, this one may come down to the very last shot. The key to this event is time. They start with only 1 minute and 35 seconds.
I see they have Judy Woolley shooting the final phase of this thing, which is probably the toughest of them all. It's 4-inch targets out there at 35 yards. He's shooting 12 of them, so that is not an easy task. There goes Mike. If he can knock down these targets in 30 seconds or so, it'll give his team a good head start.
There was a hesitation there that I don't quite understand.
Nope, he's left a couple of targets there. Now he's picked them up.
He's moving fast, but, just a couple of seconds lost can mean an awful lot.
He's shooting well, though.
Got one target he's got to get.
That's a few more seconds than he would like to have taken. Let's see what Jerry does on the speed event.
Look how fast he's moving.
And he has 42 seconds left.
He needs to move fast to give Judy enough time here.
He has 30 seconds.
I don't know if that's enough.
This is always the toughest portion of this event. If you don't zero in on these long-range targets right away, it's easy to run out of time.
Low. Rip it. Low.
Doesn't have much time.
High.
This is not going well for the Smith team. 3 seconds.
Shoot. Ceasefire!
Well, they've left the door open.
They really have. They left 7 targets up there, so that's 15 points.
That's enough room for Dillon to move in.
This is going to be a horse race.
It really is. I don't know where the problem was, if it was with Mike Plaxco in that first round or with Jerry. He stumbled a little bit too.
Neither of the 3 of them really shot as well as they did in the preliminary rounds, I don't believe.
No, I don't think so.
But that's what happened in high-powered competition like that, where there's a lot of money and a lot of pride riding on it.
I'd say probably more than the money is the pride, the bragging rights for being the best team in the country.
Absolutely. Mike Boyd is up first in the precision event. He needs to set a quick pace here to give Arn and Rob a chance to clean their banks of targets. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's on these targets, one right after the other. What it really comes down to, Thomas, looking like now, is if on this last bank of targets, if they leave 2 targets up, they win. And if they leave 3 up, they tie.
It's a tie with 3 up.
It goes the second bank, and they've got 47 seconds.
This is going to go very quickly. Boy, that was beautiful. Okay, Rob Leatham's the last shooter.
32 seconds.
It's going to be close.
He's got 28 seconds now. I don't know what the problem is, but Rob isn't getting on these targets. At this pace, it doesn't look good.
If they leave 4 targets up, they lose. 9 seconds.
Back good, shoot him smooth.
Ceasefire!
That's it.
Smith & Wesson has done it again.
Complete dominance of this event.
Even with taking a new team member and a lady named Judy Woolley, who actually shot beautifully.
She sure did. Dylan didn't shoot bad, but just no one's been able to beat the Smith & Wesson lock on this team event.
Gentlemen, Judy, thanks and congratulations. That was an excellent performance. And I'd like to introduce Jerry Van Noord from Chevy Truck, who will present just one of the reasons that you came here.
Smith & Wesson, congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank Chevy Truck and the National Shooting Sports Foundation and Smith & Wesson for providing the opportunity and for us to win at this wonderful tournament. Thank you.
So there you have it. The 5th annual Chevy Truck Sportsman's Team Challenges history. And the amazing team from Smith & Wesson has won it again for the 4th time. Tom, it's been great working with you.
It was good to be here, and it was a great event.
And thank you for being with us, too. And we hope you'll be with us again on the next edition of Shooting Sports America.